Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tony here hanging out in the music room. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's time to tell the world. That's right, a brand new segment we're doing here on the music room called Tell the World Tuesday, where we tell you about something that we think you should know about. It could be a music artist, it could be about an album, it could be about an event, it could be about anything in the world of music. Today, we have something truly special, and I know what you're saying. He probably says that every week. No, guys, this one is extra special. We got to spend a little time talking to Mark Tremonti. If you don't know Mark Tremonti, guitarist for Creed, guitarist for Alter Bridge, guitarist and singer for Tremonti. Just an all-around talented guy, and he's got a new project coming out called Mark Tremonti Sings Frank Sinatra. The title gives it away. Mark has taken on 14 Frank Sinatra songs, and he's recorded them, and he's putting an album out on May 27th. Now that alone is worth telling the world about, right? It's so cool. But this is more than any kind of vanity project or any kind of side project. This has a lot more to it, and that's what we want to tell you guys about. Mark is doing this record to benefit the National Down Syndrome Society. It's a very special cause to his heart, as his daughter Stella was born with Down syndrome. So Mark is going to tell you guys all about it, but basically he started this thing called Take a Chance for Charity. And this is the first project under that banner. And Mark is doing 100% of the proceeds of this record is going to the National Down Syndrome Society. 100%. He's recorded this thing out of his own pocket. There's going to be no recoupment. So a lot of times when you give to charity, like 10% or 20% may actually go to the charity. No. In this case, 100% is going to go to the National Down Syndrome Society. And I'm telling you guys, when you go to the website, we're going to put it right down here for you guys to see. You can order the album, classic CD, but you can also get a couple really cool vinyl variants. There's a red marble, there's a green marble. I've already ordered the red marble because I know these things are going to go fast. $40, it's a vinyl. You get an autograph by Mark, the CD, you get an autographed card in that. There are cassettes, there's t-shirts, there's hats, there's stickers, all kinds of stuff. And 100% of what you buy goes to the National Down Syndrome Society. So it's a win-win, and I want to stop talking now. So anyway, I'm going to let Mark tell you guys all about it. But please, check out the website, learn more about it. Order this record not just to benefit your record collection, but to also benefit the National Down Syndrome Society. So, without further ado, here is the Music Room interview with Mark Tremonti on this Tell the World Tuesday. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Remember, support this cause, buy this album. You won't be sorry. Thanks, guys. God bless. Bye-bye. Let's dig in, man. Talking about Take a Chance for Charity. Mark Tremonti Sings Frank Sinatra. Going to be released May 27th. I don't even really... being a fan of your career for the past 25 years, obviously with Creed, Alter Bridge, and Tremonti, this is like completely different than anything I'd expect. Kind of walk us through where the inspiration for this album was born.
Yeah, I'd say about 3 years ago, I've always been a big fan of Frank Sinatra, but about 3 years ago, I became obsessed and just wanted to do all I could to study about how he sang, and watched all his movies and started reading all the books about him. And then when my wife got pregnant and we got a diagnosis that our daughter had Down syndrome, I was like, you know what, this was for a reason. So I'm going to, because I didn't know what I was going to do with the Sinatra thing. I was just practicing, having a good time with it. And then once we found that out, I was like, there was a reason for that. Now I'm going to sing and do a record and raise money and awareness for Down syndrome. So we partnered up with NDSS, the National Down Syndrome Society, to release this record to raise funds for individuals and families with individuals with Down syndrome.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, a guy like Sinatra, the weight of his songbook, not only the amount of songs in there, but the quality of songs. The album's a nice mix of course, the hits or the standards, but there's also some deeper cuts in there. How did you approach finding those 14 songs?
I just dove in. I'd constantly listen to big band stuff, and I've always got Seriously Sinatra on the radio. I've always got my headphones on, listening to as much obscure stuff as I could find, and I found some really cool stuff that before I was, a huge fanatical fan of his, I had no idea existed. So it's cool to see how many different sides he had, and I just went down every rabbit hole I could find to find the my favorite songs to sing, and tried to make it a good mixture of the known tracks and the deeper cuts.
Yeah, it's definitely is greatly represented there, that range. So I think the really cool thing about this, and reading the story of everything about this, was like, it wasn't just, I'm going to go and cut these Sinatra songs. You had to, you've been singing for a long time, but you had to kind of go in and learn a whole new style. Like, how do you approach that as a vocalist to kind of to do this new thing? Like, it's not, like I said, it's not just, I'm going to sing Frank Sinatra. There's so much more that goes into it. Can you kind of talk about that process?
Yeah, I would. I had my youngest son, Pearson. He plays soccer, and he got picked up by 2 different teams, and so sometimes he'd have 3-hour practices, and I had to drive him 45 minutes to get there and back. So I'd be singing the drive, and the whole time he's at practice, parents weren't allowed to hit the fields because of COVID. So I'd be sitting in my car studying. So first thing I would do is I would type into my computer the words to the song, the way he pronounced them. And then I would move those words around the way he phrased them. And then I'd make marks on the exact spots of those words where he'd throw his vibrato and how fast his vibrato, how slow it was. And I would take notes of where he would take his breaths, and just every little thing you could think of to analyze how he sang. And, there's just so much to it when you really dive in. And I would take a song a day and just dive into that one song and not play anything else for 4 hours straight, and just sing through every bit of it. And then the drives back and forth were the times where I would kind of review what I had already worked on. So I would sing through the set of songs on the way to and from, and then work on just one individual song as I was sitting there in the car for 3 hours.
That's cool. That's cool to be a fly on the wall, man. Obviously, you've been singing for a long time. I mean, even the stuff with Creed, he sang, and then, obviously with Tremonti. Do you think there's anything that you picked up on from Frank in preparing this that you might take with you in your technique, or just maybe kind of change you as a vocalist?
Absolutely. It already started to, but when I was doing the last Tremonti record, I kind of approached the way I was going to look at singing certain songs the way I did the Sinatra songs. Before, I would just kind of write lyrics, and I would write melodies, and I would kind of just go in there and sing them unrehearsed. And now I make sure I've got perfect marching orders for how I'm going to attack the song. Because the more you know exactly what you want to do in the studio vocally, the more you can experiment with it. The more confident you'll get with it. So, I just overanalyzed what I wanted to do with my own vocal approach now, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, it was cool. We were listening to the record, kind of preparing. We're big Sinatra fans ourselves, me and my wife, and I was playing the record, and she's like, "Wow, he's really good. What does he sound like on his other stuff?" So we played some of the early Tremonti stuff, and he's like, "Well, he's a good singer," because I think hears a lot of screaming and some of the stuff I listen to. He's like, he's already a good singer, but so it was kind of cool to get somebody's opinion on the outside too, to compare the Tremonti stuff to what you did on this record. So
some of those early Tremonti records, I was still very nervous to be a singer, and didn't have the confidence. I think I think the last 2 records, I started getting more of a feeling for what controlling my voice. But the Sinatra stuff is so different from that stuff because it's in my register. I don't have to push, and I can really take my time with it and use my without straining. It just worked better.
Yeah. Talk about the vocal preparation, but there's also have to be some mental preparation, digging into the world of Sinatra like you did, to be there with Mike Smith, the band leader, of Sinatra, Harry Connick, Tony Bennett, and then these musicians that played with the chairman. And how was that mentally for you? Did it take a minute?
Everybody was asking me, are you nervous? Are you terrified? Is this going to be tough and this and that? And I, for 2 reasons, I wasn't nervous at all. I was just excited to do it because at first I practiced nonstop. I mean, I was way over prepared for this. I knew going in there, I couldn't take another week to work anything else out. It was going to happen at that moment or not, because I had done everything I could at that moment.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I wasn't worried because I'm doing it for charity. What's somebody going to say? Wow, you did a terrible job raising money for charity.
Right. Right.
It came from a good place, so I didn't feel those nerves.
Good.
I feel more nerves about getting up and doing it. I have my first show with the guys on May 14th. And I'm not nervous about being able to sing the songs. I'm more nervous about the presentation and what I'm going to do while the other guys are playing for 40 seconds when I just have a microphone and I'm standing there, because I don't have Frank Sinatra's swagger on stage. As even being the front man of a rock band, you can't get on YouTube and look up how to be a great frontman. You got to go out there and you got to do it, and you earn your stripes as the years go by. You don't step on stage for the first time knowing what to do. So it's going to be a learning curve for me, and it's also a very emotional thing for me. Being able to sing Frank Sinatra songs with the guys that played him with him is an emotional thing for me, and having people appreciate it. The other, doing it for with my daughter in mind, doing it for charity, it's going to be tough to get a word out up there when I'm not singing. So that's what I'm most nervous about.
Yeah. That's that event. I had that on here to talk about at the Abbey in Orlando, Florida, on May 14th, playing those songs live. Also to benefit charity. That's already sold out. So, but that's a great thing for the charity. It's awesome. You said first show. Do you think there'd be any more potential one-offs or anything with this project?
Yeah. I mean, it's such an exciting project. It would be the biggest shame in the world not to be able to keep on doing it. And I would love, in a perfect world, I'd also love to do an annual event, take a chance for charity event where we brought in other folks who have done the same style of project and have us all come in and perform and raise money for charity every year.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that too. The Take the Chance for charity. That's your charity. You developed this alongside of this project to raise money. Do you have anything else planned in the future as far as like where you see I know you're going to work with other celebrities and things like that. Is there anything else in the works for any other projects yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of people. So far, we are planning stuff for Larry the Cable Guy, my good friend, and then Chris Daughtry. I was just on tour with him, and he's all about doing it. The guys from Blackstone Cherry want to do it. The guys from Fuel want to do it. The country band Lone Star wants to do it. Steve Stevens from Billy Idol wants to do it. And it just keeps on going. People just keep on trickling in. And I think, right now we're focused on this record coming out. And then once we get that up and rolling, we'll really start tackling all these other projects. And I think the more people do it here in this first year, the more the word will spread and the more people will naturally just do it on their own. I wanted to get to that point, almost like the Ice Bucket Challenge, where we're not necessarily having to contact people that are doing it on their own and doing it hashtag, take a chance for charity, and using our links and whatnot for people to be able to donate.
That's awesome. And I mean, for a music fan, it's a no-brainer because, we'll definitely direct people to the website, but man, the vinyl offerings alone for this project, they're beautiful. I mean, the marble vinyl and the autograph poster that comes with it and the t-shirts, all the offerings, it's a no-brainer. It's just so well done, man. I can't say how
Thank you very much.
It is.
But the toughest thing about the vinyl is just like everything else in the world, supplies are so hard to get, and you have to wait so long to get vinyl. We could only press, I think less than 4,000 vinyls. So it's going to come down to CDs for probably, I don't know how many months before we can get a whole nother pressing of the LPs. But yeah, it's tough. It's a shame that it takes so long, but it is what it is.
It is, man. But like I said, it's no-brainers. People better hurry up because that's going to be sold out too, just like the show at the Abbey. I have no doubt on that. So before we get moving here, I know we're pushing about 13 minutes already. Is there anything that you just want people to know about Take a Chance for Charity or the National Down Syndrome Society off? Obviously it has a big part to your heart. Anything you want people to know?
Yeah, just that, from the very first penny that they write a check for or use a credit card for, it's going right to NDSS. We wanted to make sure that all the money that was put into the project and everything, there's no recoupments there. It's just going right to charity. So every penny that you spend will do that. You can also, people can go to TremontiSingsFrank to see the story behind it, to look more into the Take a Chance for Charity ideas, to grab the records and CDs and shirts and posters, whatever anybody wants to grab. And there'll always be news up there on that site for all the upcoming projects and upcoming shows if we schedule some more.
Awesome. And we'll definitely put a link there so everybody can get to that real easy. I do have to ask one more question about the record. 14 songs on the record. Is that what you recorded, or are there some more things in the can for maybe like a possible volume 2 or something?
No, that's all we did, but I would absolutely love to do a volume 2. And I've hit, it's funny, I've been hit up so many times. After this first song came out, everybody's like, now we need a Christmas album. So I would really love to do a Christmas album. That'd be a lot of fun. Man,
that'd be cool. That'd be very cool. So those classic Sinatra songs, man. Yeah. Yep. I think that has to be done. All right, man. So I think we handled this. We covered this record as much as we can here in the amount of time that we have. But like I said, I love the story you told too about when it was over, the last session, and when the last guys were walking out, how you felt. That was a cool moment to read about because, I'm sure you were in the studio plenty, but to have that experience, Yeah,
it was definitely a bittersweet experience. As we got down to the last tracks, you would let the folks go home that weren't tracking anymore. So when we got down to the last 2 or 3 where there weren't trombones and trumpets and whatnot, it's just more of a rhythm section and guitar and piano. Especially like on My Way. My Way was the last song we tracked, and it was just me and Dan McIntyre on the guitar sitting there going over the how he was he was throwing at me a few different ideas of how he was going to play the guitar, and we just kind of sat there, and that was the only song on the record that happened kind of in the moment. There was no charts for it. It was just us jamming. And then Jeremy jumps on the piano and Joel jumped on the drums, and it was just a bittersweet moment, and I think that was another song. My Way was, I didn't want to just do the hits, and My Way I almost didn't want to do it because it's probably his biggest hit, but I love it so much that I wanted to do it, and I just wanted to do it very differently than the original version. So That's why we made it more of a nylon string based approach, and I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I'm not trying to see be like a Sinatra poser, but that's my favorite song on that record, of your record there, with the subtle guitar and everything. It's beautiful. So I'm really glad I did make the record.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. So just this last couple minutes, you're a busy guy for sure, so I just want to touch on a couple things real quick, and I'll let you go, man. Alter Bridge, you guys recording your 7th album now? Are you guys in the process of doing that now?
Yeah, we just finished pre-production about 4 days ago, and drums are already being tracked, and Brian will be tracking his bass starting sometime this week, and then I'll be up next.
Man, that's good news. That's great news for music fans. So you're going to be doing that, and then you hit the road to go over to Europe in June. So will the Alter Bridge record be done by, I guess your part will all be done by then before you head over to Europe? Yeah,
I'll be done, and then nowadays it takes about 4 months to finish recording a record, and then prep it for release. So we'll be done. I leave, I think, on May 27th for the tour, and I don't know when the record comes out. Maybe September or October.
That's cool. And then maybe touring in 2023 on that then?
We'll be touring in this year. We'll be touring, I think, October, November, and December of this year.
Okay, awesome. All right, and then I have to ask, because that moment with, we got to see the tour with you and Daughtry here in Cincinnati at the end of last year. It was great, and obviously, the terrible things happened, and you guys had to take the time off. But you got back to playing, and you and Chris and the band did a tribute to Taylor Hawkins. And I just have to, as a fan watching it, it was emotional. How was it playing that song, considering that loss?
It was definitely an emotional, night and day for us, and putting that song together. I remember I called Chris the next morning. I was like, man, I couldn't sleep last night. I think we should, do a moment of silence, get all the bands up there, or in a perfect world, we could do My Hero and get all the bands to participate. And he's like, yeah, he actually, I think they had done a version of that years ago. So we just rehearsed it a couple of times at sound check. Of course, practiced it in our dressing rooms and played it that night. And it was definitely an emotional, version of the song for us. But it was Chris and the guys are absolutely top-notch musicians, and he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, his vocals are insane, and I think it turned out great. Yeah,
it was definitely one of those goosebump moments, man. You and Chris, that was a perfect tour, man. You guys just complimented each other so much. It was a great bill, and I'm glad I got to see that. All right, finally, we're going to wrap up here. I have to ask, and I hope you don't mind, 1997, 25 years ago, My Own Prison history, groundbreaking record. 2024, I believe, is like the 30th anniversary of Creed. Are there any plans, not even if it's tour or anything, but maybe like any reissues, any plans for anything to do with the Creed world?
There's stuff always kind of pops up, but it's always, promoters or whoever else will want to do something when we're in the middle of releasing an Alter Bridge record. So I think it's just a matter of finding the right time. Like, anniversaries are great. We can always prepare for those dates and whatnot. But it's been, there's so many things behind the scenes that we have to deal with, between the red tapes of record labels and band members and all the different bands, and so many different managers for all the different members. And it's a lot of work to put together, but it's not something that's ever off the table. We're just kind of waiting for the right moment.
Cool, man. Well, like I said, I mean, that was my glory days, I guess, coming in. So it doesn't matter. Creed, Tremonti, Alter Bridge, now the Sinatra stuff. Mark, I just appreciate your work, your body of work, and it stays strong. I appreciate what you're doing for the charities, man, and I'm just so excited for you and this project. So just wish you the very best on it, and I look forward to telling as many people as possible about this awesome project.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.